fellow weary travelers, and welcome to Catladonia. I am Cat, or Catherine, or any variation thereof, and today I am doing a time-lapse of my Mermaid 2022 design in which I created a bioluminescent deep-sea mermaid, Norina, based on the ghost ray from the game Subnautica. Am I incredibly late getting this up? Yes. Yes, I am. But we'll talk about that later. For now, if you don't know Subnautica, but you like sci-fi and survival games and the ocean, then you may want to check this one out. You are Riley Robinson, a non-essential systems maintenance chief on the Aurora that crash lands on a strange alien planet that is mostly, you guessed it, water. Your goals? Explore, survive, and unravel the mysteries of both the company you work for and this odd planet that you appear to be the first visitor to. Or are you?
It is absolutely breathtaking in design down to the tiniest detail and filled with a plethora of resources to collect, tons of equipment to build, delightfully varied and inadvisable locations to stick one's nose into, and a terrifying variety of beasts of the deep to get your adrenaline going, or send you hiding under your bed. It even has a variety of difficulty levels to choose from, so there's a little something for everyone.
Check it out if you haven't, but in the meantime, let's get down to business, starting with that all-important beginning point, sketching. The sketch process for this was fairly straightforward. I had intended to do multiple pieces for Mermay, so I had prepared a variety of poses ahead of time, and simply chose the one that I felt would best show off the large manta ray wings and the diamond tip tail, since those would be main features of the design. The design for the wings stayed mostly the same as the original, but the strange little glowing orbs on either side of the ghost ray's mouth were translated into glowing mini tentacles on either side of her face, mimicking the princess locks that are so popular in fantasy anime. From there, I moved on to the relaxing, if tedious, task of line art, in order to avoid thinking about what I was going to do for her seashell situation and whether or not I wanted to give her hair. Obviously, the ghost ray doesn't have anything in its design that could really translate into hair or clothing, but since I'm not comfortable drawing a shellless mermaid and one of my favorite things to draw in art is hair, in the end, I finally caved and decided she could have hair. But with a twist. The hair would not be her own, but rather a little bit of decoration that she's made for herself from the glowing ghost weed that grows in the ghost ray biome. This resulted in very lengthy lining, shading, and lighting processes further down the road, but I think the results were worth it. After the hairline work was finally finished, I was able to move on to the similarly daunting task of a shell design. I didn't want to just stick some little mermaid shells on her and call it a day. So I went looking through the death ray biome and its neighboring biomes in the wiki pages until I found this, crabclaw kelp, another plant with fun glowy properties that I could play up in the final piece. I came up with a fun halter piece for the shells, then added a little bit of tail decoration just to help tie everything together. After that, it was time to lay down the base colors, which was by far the easiest part of this entire process. But it was at this point that I realized that the many translucent surfaces were going to require some fading of the line art in places, and that I was going to have to do something with her massive eyes eventually. I ignored the eyes for the time being in favor of beginning the extensive glowing and shading work this project would involve. I did briefly toy with the idea of making her entire body semi-translucent, but then I realized I'd have to work out what kind of innards a ghost ray mermaid would have, and I very quickly noped out of that situation. From there we went on to the less unsettling work of shading her face, coloring her lips, and finally giving her actual eyes, though with manta ray style pupils. Incidentally, it was stupidly hard to find a good reference for manta ray eyeballs, but in the end I did find a good reference. I made the irises pink for a nice pop of color and to reference the red glowing bits on the wings. Some glowy spots in place of eyebrows matching her vine hair completed the final bits of the design. From here on out, the name of the game was Shading and Glow. I added any missing glowy bit base colors, then forced myself to finish all the shading work, fading of line work, and internal glow effects before going absolutely glow crazy. I don't often end up putting color over line work, but when I do, It's usually for a glowing effect. After an approximate eternity of adding layers and layers of glow, it was finally time to finish things up with a watery background and foreground before erasing my little in-file palette. And now it's time for the final results. Meet Norina, the sunray of the deep. She is complete! Not gonna lie, but there were a few times while I was making her where I thought she would never be done. But I'm glad I stuck with her because now I have possibly the glowiest mermaid design to ever exist. Let me know if there's anything glowier, I want to see it. But what do you all think of her? Can you see the ghost ray in her design? Should I do more of these? As I said before, I meant to do more of these designs for Mermaid 2022. But between life being crazy and my tendency to take a relatively straightforward doodle challenge and go detail crazy with it, this was the only one I was able to complete this year. Maybe I should make Subnautica Mermaids a yearly tradition? I have lots of ideas for other mermaids based on the Subnautica games, ranging from silly to terrifying. So let me know in the comments if that's something you would enjoy. But for now, weary travelers, good day and God be with ye.